Okay, wonderful. Okay, I'll say good afternoon, everyone. Thanks for joining on this. Well, it's actually a pretty nice, cool but nice spring day, at least here in Northeast Ohio. And hope everybody's. A lot of people are probably getting ready for a bit of a holiday weekend. I know when I was working, one of the few companies that actually gave their employees off on Good Friday, and I always looked forward to that because we had off and most other people were working, and for some reason it seemed more satisfying. I don't know, but it doesn't. Now I hardly know what day of the week it is anymore. So life has changed. Um, Let me throw the agenda up on the screen. Let's see what we're going to be talking about. Close this window. And there we go. Yeah, as always, media and publicity is a big thing. I see Mackenzie's with us here today. We had some good discussions during the week. She and I can fill you in on that. A little bit of talk about the Xenia Ham pension, not too much. And then a couple of tech topics, maybe if depending on who shows up and that sort of thing. I do have a couple of questions for the group. Is there anything anybody would like to add? Nope, we're good. Okay. I was going to say maybe it'll be a short meeting, but that's how they started out the Grape Zoom call this morning at 9 o'clock, and at 10:15 they were still going strong. So you never know, I guess. A couple of things it's kind of nice to see. We've got almost 800 members now in the regular Hamside Google group. That's been growing slowly but surely the past couple of months. I think some of the publicity efforts have paid off. Obviously, the people joining the workshop, some have joined that group and so on and so forth. So that group's been pretty good. And the Hamside Eclipse Google group, I think people have been finding their way to that thanks to some of the pages on the Hamside site. And that's over 500 members now. I'm sure there's a lot of crossover between the two of them, so it's not 12 or 1300 total. But anyhow, we're getting a nice group of followers, I guess you would say there. Next thing was last week, I was talking about getting some business cards made for our upcoming events. I know, Ron, I sent you the files, and these are the proofs that I got back from Randy, KB3IFH, and he's in the process of just starting to print a couple of thousand of these. I know we can use them at the Dayton Hamvention, the Tapper DCC in September, Orlando Hamcation again in the spring. So that's why I wanted to order enough for at least those 3 events, and you know, maybe there'll be something else sprinkled throughout the year, and somebody wanted a few hundred of these to pass out. So hopefully everybody's got their white lab coats, the Hamvention can have their pockets filled with these things and pass them out to people who are interested.
Hey, Gary.
So yeah, Ron.
Sorry to interrupt, but on this note, I would like to be able to hand those out at Visalia. I've dealt with Randy before. In fact, I just got some luggage tags from him and some more of my own business cards. But it sounds like he's going to get those out to you just before I go to Visalia. Would you be okay if I had Randy send me maybe 50 or 75 or something to me? I'll pay for the shipping out of this. I was just emailing with him on some other matters the other day, but if you're okay with that, then I would like to have him send me some in an envelope that I can hand out at the International DX convention. Are you okay with that?
Oh yeah, absolutely. As a matter of fact, as soon as we're done here, I'll send him a note to that effect and copy you, and you guys can work out the details, obviously. But sure, absolutely, that's great.
Okay, thank you.
Yep. Yeah, he was talking about the 3rd week in April he was having them done, and I'm not sure if how that fits with your schedule. Hopefully good. Okay. All right, that's a to-do. All right, let's see what else was next. The other thing is these things just seem to pop up out of nowhere sometimes. Another group or site contacted us. They're called SciStarter, and I think they're mainly kind of focused toward the STEM area, mostly younger people, I think. But it's really just all about citizen science. This photograph rolls through here a couple of different things. What you can do here is search on a project, turn off the location stuff. Whoop. And look at that. Here we are. So basically people can go in here and shop different projects, find things they're interested in, obviously descriptions of the projects, how to get started. There's additional resources. They've got a link to the league and their licensing website, materials you need. And it's from the age group, I just started with middle school through adults and seniors. I mean, really, there's no age limitations and that sort of thing. So, and of course, our website. So this is just another place where hopefully we can pick up a few more participants. Okay, close that up. Okay, so Ron, yeah, you just filled me up. You're doing pretty well on your CQ article. That's good to hear. That's come along. It's been nice and timely. Let's see here. Let me find what I was going to do for QST. See what everybody thinks of this. So I was considering how to start the article. I looked back and did some searching on past Hamside QST articles. And one of the things I came up with was Phil Erickson's write-up. I think it was the 2021 workshop, which was an excellent write-up. Phil's a really good writer. It was pretty meaty. It was like 3 pages long, a lot of great information on it, but there were really no illustrations. There was just one, the logo for the workshop, but the rest of it was all words. And the other thing I was thinking about, I looked up how the league has covered the Dayton Hamvention the last couple of years. Well, really just last year because it was closed for 2. And what they had done is more of just a photo gallery of interesting things and equipment, of course, but also people and places in the Hamvention. So I kind of had these 2 extremes where one way we could document everything with text, and the other way is everything with photographs. And I try to kind of take a middle ground. We don't need to go through this whole thing here. What I've got is about well, it says 796 words. That seems like a lot. Oh, this article here is about 500 words. And following Ward Silver's and everybody else's suggestions last week, it begins by focusing on volunteerism and citizen science. Since we're talking about people, the attendees, what type of people were there, discussions and just briefly discussions and topics that the workshop was focusing on. And then a couple of paragraphs about what Hamside is all about and our goals. Then I got back into some numbers about how many authors and poster sessions and some of the other groups that were represented there. Also wanted to mention the nice display that was there from the Mergus Amateur Radio Club, Amateur Radio Through the Ages. Of course, we had the station set up and the VE exam. So I think it's a reasonably dense synopsis of what went on. And what I want to really do is probably less than a page. And I was thinking about taking snapshots from the various presentations, which would be of interest to Ham. And then, of course, with captions explaining what they were all about. I've got access now to all the presentations, so I can find these images and fill this thing up a little bit. I haven't done any of the references, any of the sidebars, or any of that kind of stuff here, but I just wanted to get through looking through these images and kind of see what the thing looks like overall. Any comments or thoughts on what I've got here? Arguing up here. Okay, silence is golden. That's fine with me. I'm going to continue fleshing this out, filling in the images, and then working on the references and that's some of the stuff that we talked about a few minutes ago, Ron, that needs to go on here. Who supported the conference and that sort of thing. And I think this will make a decent article for QST. Speaking to the league, I did correspond with Becky, their editorial director, gave her a heads up that this was coming. She had already talked to Nathaniel about it a month or so ago and was aware there was something was in the works. The other nice piece of news is the article that everybody here, and of course Ward Silver too, helped me with for the On the Air magazine, the Beginners magazine, that got accepted for publication. So that will be in the September and October issue, just a little bit before the Eclipse. So we'll get some good coverage from that too, for the newer ham community, which is important. All right, let me close this up.
And Gary, can I throw something in real quick?
Sure.
So I'm kind of paralleling what you're doing, except I did some research and checked with CQ about the audience and the level of technicality that they wanted. And so I will have a different slant based on that, but the context and the order, it's interesting that without us really talking to each other, we've really paralleled pretty much down. The mine is kind of the same, except it's a little bit different audience from what CQ was saying that they wanted. So, but yeah, I'm kind of surprised looking at this. It's like the two of us sat down and said, let's do this and then do this and then do this in this order. So, and I just wanted to throw that in real quick, that that's how they look like.
No, that's great. I think yeah, tailoring them to the publications audience obviously is important, and hopefully I've done that too. So we'll keep working on it. So good. Good. It's great to know that great minds think alike or something like that. I'm not sure how that worked out for us. But it's good to hear.
Or great minds meander down the same paths or something.
Yeah, we hope, but we're ending up with the same fork in the road or something like that. So that's
Yeah.
okay. I like it. And then the Scientific American thing that you're working on that, but that's in the future yet, Ron, right?
Yeah, and Ed and I are going to actually be on the phone a little bit tomorrow. He has some thoughts on it. And I think I've told you, I think I'm really, I keep saying I'm stretching every time I do anything with this group, but I'm really stretching and growing with this one. And I'm going to probably reach out to a couple of people like Mary Lou and a couple to make sure that I'm going down the right path. And I've been preparing. They want a one-page proposal, so I've been working on that and getting ready to submit it. So yeah, I think I'm crazy to even think I'm qualified to do it, but I'm kind of excited and I'm gonna work on it. So Gary, this is probably way off topic and I don't want to embarrass anybody, but Mary Lou, I knew you had that surgery coming up. Are you doing okay? I just wanted to check on you really quick. I was going to email you. I hope I'm not embarrassing you. If I am, I apologize, but I want to make sure you're okay.
Well, thank you very much for inquiring. I had a full hip transplant 2 days ago, and
Wow.
so I am scarfing down pain pills. And my son is here to take care of me in New Jersey, so that's really wonderful. Things are coming along, but it's slow progress. But yeah, day by day, a little bit. So
They can
thanks
take
for
off.
asking.
Yeah, sorry, Gary, to pull us off. I just wanted to check on her. So
No, it's obviously great to inquire, but even better to hear good news that you came through the operation so well. I mean, you look as happy as a clam there, Mary Lou. So what the heck? That's great.
yeah, and then that's the update on Scientific American, and I'll be quiet now.
Okay, no problem, no problem. I want to spend a little time giving Mackenzie some time on the floor too. So she and Ed and I talked last Tuesday afternoon, had a nice discussion. And I think we came down to a couple of points, Mackenzie, kind of sort of action items for the near future. One of which is the social media aspect of things, Facebook and Discord, and also being able to put up some speakers for the various, whether they're podcasts and radio clubs and stuff that want us to do some talking. And just real quick before we jump into that, one of the things that I asked her and Ed, I said, are we starting too soon in some respects? Because a lot of this isn't going to be happening until obviously the next Eclipse in October. But Mackenzie had some good thoughts on that, especially when it came to Discord. And I guess the answer is kind of no. We should get started sooner rather than later. So let's talk about that a little bit. Mackenzie, Discord is the one thing as I said the other day, I'm least familiar with. So would you mind just reviewing that a little bit, how that would play into it and how that would help us?
Yes. Okay. So I was honestly thinking instead of Discord, maybe we should focus on Twitter. So it would be Facebook, Twitter, and then Discord, because I was looking into it a little more and I realized that a lot more people use Twitter compared to Discord. Discord is more for the younger hands, but I still think that's a good thing to use. But for Discord, we would have a Discord server. It would be the Hamsci Discord server. And in that server would be a ton of members, probably younger people. And it's a great way to make friends, to make connections, and it's a great way to really get the word of Hamsci out there, because you can also do a couple of things where you have partnerships with maybe like CARP, because they also have a Discord server, Collegiate Amateur Radio Program, and maybe other Discord amateur radio servers like Yacht or YARC. YARC is the Young Amateur Radio Club. And what I was thinking is maybe you could talk to, or somebody could talk to the owner of those servers and really have a partnership. So people in those servers can hear more about Hamsci. You can post an announcement in these servers saying like, hey guys, this is what we're doing. This is who we are. We would like you to participate if you are able to. And I think that would be a great thing. But for the actual Hamsci server, it would just be different like channels like media. You could post like pictures from Hamvention. You could post pictures of the members, maybe talk about some things you're working on, just really just stuff like that. It's really just a big social thing.
Hey, Mackenzie.
Yes.
So this is Ron, one of the senior members. So does that explain why when I get on with my grandkids and they want to play games like Intruder, that they're always having me on Discord then? Because you said it was for the younger ones.
Yes. It's a great
Yeah,
way
I
to
would-
stream stuff and talk to people at the same time.
I
So-
would say that Discord's going to get a lot more traffic than Twitter of the sort that we're looking for.
That's why I'm kind of in between Discord and Twitter, because I feel
Yeah.
like
Well,
maybe-
just personally, I do Facebook, I'm on Discord, I don't do Twitter at all, but the people that I know who are of the younger persuasion do a lot of Discord, do not do Twitter,
okay.
and they are the technical types. So
Okay. Thank you.
don't discount Discord.
So also, Gary, I was wondering if Hamsci has an established community drive full of like a bunch of documents for Hamsci or PowerPoints. It's kind of off topic, but I was just curious.
No, I made a note. I want to go back to that because that's something actually we discussed this morning for a little bit. So I want to come back to that. Just to give me a feel again, you said when you set up the Discord servers, Mackenzie, are these what do we call it, different channels like media and there are other things you mentioned?
Yes, so it would just, the best way I can explain it is it's like this little group, and inside the group, it's for a specific topic. Like you would have, like in a regular Discord server, there's something like media, pictures and videos, and then there's the general channel, which is where everybody can talk about whatever. And then you can have specific channels that have specific topics. And you can make it so people can only talk about that specific topic. So you'll have like a role channel, announcements, what else? Like media, general.
Just like having different forums on some of the different ones
Yeah.
you're on, they'll call them forums. Like I'm on a music one, and one forum is about gear, and another one's about maintenance, and another one is about particular kinds of songs. Is that what you're talking about? Is having that under that umbrella?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's heavily used for coordinating activities, which I think is right up the alley of what we want to be doing.
Right.
Pretty cool. Okay.
But-
That helps.
I was talking about on Tuesday, I think having some administrators or moderators is needed. Because if there's a lot of people who join, there's, not everyone may follow the rules, and we want to make sure that, everybody is on the same page and they don't go off topic crazy. and it's, you know, friendly for everybody.
Yeah, language and
Right.
criticizing others and not allowing free expressions, things like that you need to be able to shut them down and remove them from the list, or at least stop them from posting for a period of time and then give them a chance to post again. I think that's really important, particularly where we want to keep this very user friendly to people.
Right.
Okay, one of the questions I've got, this goes back to my working life when we were creating systems and doing things. He said we could have multiple moderators, and that's good. When we designed the system and granted accesses and things, we always made sure we did not have like a single point of failure. You know,
Right.
say you won the lottery and you moved to that sunny beach that's in your background picture. We want to somebody else to be able to pick it up, or at least know what's going on with all that stuff. So is that possible to have some like parallel, I don't know if you want to call it supervision or whatever?
Yes, it is. So
Okay.
there can be like moderators, but there can also be 2 server owners. If you ever need to transfer the ownership at any time, you just click a certain button, it'll change the permissions for that certain person, and they can take over if they need to.
Okay, I mean, because stuff happens. I mean, people get busy, or
Right.
there's things happen in their life, and if it happens like a bad time, like 3 days before the eclipse, and somebody, you know, decides to go off and, I don't know, get married or something like that,
Right.
then I gotta have an option. So okay, that's fine. That's fine. You mentioned CARP a little bit. Did you get a chance to talk to Andy from the CARP guy at the American Radio Relay League? Ed was asking.
I didn't get anything back from him yet, but I'm hoping I do soon.
Okay, I think you will, because the ARL had a PR committee meeting yesterday, and I think Andy was asking around, and Ed told me, yes, we know Mackenzie, she's working with us, and we're all on the same page, sort of thing. So I think now that he's heard that, I imagine you'll get something back from. So I hope you understand how that works. Sometimes people, you want to get too much going on at once.
Right.
So, yeah,
If I
but-
might ask Mackenzie, what's a good email address for you? Do we have that?
You can use my school email. It's mdent, so mdent007 @odu.edu. I'll put it in the chat as well.
Yeah, I was going to ask if you could just throw it in the chat if you don't mind.
Okay, I have someone who's
That's my school email. so-
might be able to help with the Discord side of things.
Okay. There we go. It's in the chat.
Great.
Okay, so knowing all that, and I'd like to do a little bit of reading up on it too, but so I guess the question is how do we get started? Is there, I mean, some software and some sites, you have licensing fees and all that kind of stuff. I know a lot of the social media stuff is free because the people who put it up there get other benefits from people participating.
Right. So I think the first thing to do is try to grow the Facebook account first. If possible, maybe start posting a little more, some updates about HamSci and all the projects you guys are doing. And for Discord, I think just make the server first, make all the channels, set the permissions so certain people can or can't talk. You also, I'm not certain how to do this, but there is a way to make it so only verified people can join the server if they have a verified phone number with Discord. I might have to look into that a little more or ask some people that I know on Discord how to do that. But the first thing is just really making the server, making permissions and roles, and you can assign roles to people so they can or cannot talk in certain areas. You can make the rules, just type in the channel, and that's really what I'm thinking for now.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay. Yeah, like I said, I'd like to do a little bit of reading about this, and then we can talk offline a little bit too. And then David's got some advice or some possible help too, so that could be helpful.
Yep.
So 2 things. I still got your the note about the PowerPoints. I haven't forgotten that. Now you said start with, and HamSci does have a Facebook account. I assume that Nathaniel set it up, and it's been probably years since anything's been posted to that. So I assume that's the same account we would kind of get rolling again.
Yes.
Okay. So seeing that he's not here, we'll have to, like I say, he's trying to take the weekend off. So I'm not going to bug him this weekend, but maybe starting on the Monday night call, I can ask him and what we would need to do to get a couple of us starting to post to Facebook to get that woke up again. So that'd be fine.
Right. Also for the YouTube channel, I don't know who's in charge of that, but I think at the beginning of the videos, there should be something that kind of pushes people to subscribe to the channel. Because a lot of people do that in YouTube videos. They're like, hey, subscribe, turn on post notifications. And that's a big thing with YouTube. If more people see that, they might feel more obligated to subscribe, and then we can grow the audience more. But also, like, other things could be posted on YouTube besides just the Zoom meetings. Maybe interviews or just general information videos.
You said some sort of like an introductory video. What is HamSci and why we're there and all that sort of thing?
Yes.
I know some of the, here's the thought. I know we've been doing a few videos of different podcasters. And those are usually the kind of questions that come up. What is HamSci? What are you guys all about? Who should join and that sort of thing. So some of that's covered, but I guess those are buried in those other podcasts. So you're saying something short, sweet, and specific, just for HamSci.
Yes.
Okay. I imagine the first task would be to figure out how to, or who or how to create that content too, obviously. But we can have that discussion. At least we got a little bit of a plan here. Okay. So the Twitter thing we kind of left hanging a little bit. Only thing I know about Twitter is what I read, a lot in the common media. I read the newspaper and a couple of magazines every week, and I know Twitter's having its ups and downs, I guess we'd say at the moment, but it's still pretty darn popular. I mean, it's still got hundreds of millions of users.
I know a lot of ham operators use Twitter. I think that's one of their main ways to share information besides Facebook. So I think that would be a great thing to use for HamSci.
Okay.
I see the same thing, Mackenzie. To David's point, I don't see a lot of the younger hams using it, but
Right.
there's a lot, there's been a lot of DXpeditions and IOTA, which is Islands on the Air, on Twitter, showing them where they're at and the ship and the progress. And I see a few of those come across almost every single day of the week. To your point, Mackenzie, that I see that on the Twitter.
Is that used as a spotting network?
No, it's just more of a, hey, here's a picture of us getting off the boat. Here's a picture of us setting up our station, things like that, David. Not so much of,
Oh, I see.
Yeah, we're not so much we're on the air so much as a self photo, something like that. And I don't want to give the impression that I know a lot about this stuff, Mackenzie or Gary, except that my grandkids, I use it with them quite a bit. And I do see the Twitter on a lot of island expeditions and DXing and stuff like that. Anyway.
Yeah, thank you. I definitely agree.
Okay.
So I think it should be maybe Facebook, Twitter, and then Discord. I still think Discord is important, but it's lower on the list.
Okay, so Facebook is partially for getting announcements out there and generating interest. I'm just trying to think the reasons why we're going to be doing these things.
Reference Facebook. I've been on Facebook and doing Facebook groups for a long time. I don't know how I got selected, but I got selected for the official Facebook Power Admins Global Group, a community by Facebook. which gives me access to Facebook itself, the actual employees. I've got a couple of groups which I admin, and I'm very familiar with Facebook's in and outs and all that, so I can help on that.
Okay, Gary, thank you. Writing things in my notebook too while we're here. Okay. Yeah, so Facebook is great for the announcements and general interest. Obviously, Twitter, I think, listening to you, Ron, it's good for kind of getting live information out there for one thing. I don't know that you want to put something out on Twitter saying, hey, we're going to be doing this 5 months from now, if that would be appropriate or not.
No, and I don't see that. And again, my exposure is limited, but like, here's one that just came in today, and it was just some people in Spain that were going out to an island, and it was just very friendly, and we're getting on the boat and we're heading out. And then here's one from yesterday that shows a group that says, we're putting up a new antenna that we just bought. This is from, I think, in Italy. And here's a picture of us putting up our new antenna. So it's kind of an informal, here's what we're doing type of a thing, at least that I see that comes across. The one I'm looking at is DX World, has a lot of that, and I kind of follow DX World and what they do. So,
Because what I'm thinking, I'm playing devil's advocate here. I mean, Hampshire doesn't have a lot of those activities that necessarily would excite people. I mean, we've got the eclipses coming up, obviously, and we published a paper here, we added something to the website, or we've released a new version of the Grape receiver and that sort of thing. If those things would be of interest to people via Twitter, I mean, that'd be great that we could do some of that.
well, and I think to McKinsey's point too is there's more than that could go on it though. If somebody just got a magnetometer and was putting it in their yard, then they could put a picture up saying, hey, look, here's my magnetometer, or here's what I just did with Arduino, and this was kind of really interesting for me, or here's a picture of me with my Grape 1.2. I mean, I'm just kind of grabbing things out of the air. But McKinsey, tell me if I'm going a different direction. I'm not trying to interpret what you're saying, but that was kind of my impression of some of the things that go on that would be fun for people to see. And Mary Lou could send us a picture of her crutches or cane or whatever it is that she's got. I'm giving you a bad time, Mary Lou. I'm just teasing, but there are some fun things that are going on that you wouldn't catch in this meeting, and you wouldn't catch in the emails that people are doing. And I mean, even I just got a new transceiver because I want to do Whisper. I'm going to do that. I can think of just a lot of things that people might enjoy putting on.
Okay, I think that helped me a lot, Ron, because like you said, if we get somebody who's got their new Grape, they put on the air. And Mackenzie, you had talked about hashtags and stuff too. If people are
Yes.
using the proper hashtags, and then people would see that, they get
Right.
interested in the Grape, and maybe they would come to our website and build their own. That's thinking, I guess, huh?
Exactly.
Okay. I'm figuring it out. I'm slow, but I'm getting there.
Gary has his hand up.
Yo, Gary, go ahead.
This is only my second meeting, so I've still got a lot to learn and find out what I can offer from experience. But reference YouTube and making a video. I'm thinking that maybe if it's possible to get somebody that's got celebrity status, more or less. You've got like Brian May, who's in the band Queen. He's an astrophysicist. A lot of people don't know that. He shows up at NASA once in a while out in California, and he still participates a lot. I personally, in the past, I've done DUI grant programs, and I pulled in Alan Arkin and Larry Linville, which was Major Frank Burns from MASH, to do PSAs for our law enforcement agency. And I've got a knack at being able to contact people. I've got Gary Sinise, which is better known as Lieutenant Dan from Forrest Gump. He got his band to come and do a performance about 8 or 9 years ago over in Somerville, South Carolina.
And Joe Walsh,
The event.
Joe Walsh,
Excuse me.
isn't it Joe Walsh, the guitarist with Eagles? He's a huge amateur radio, ham radio.
But I was thinking that the along with videos, just get somebody that's in that long, even somebody from NASA or something to add in there that would just their name would pull hits to the YouTube channel. What do you think, Mackenzie?
That was actually something we talked about on Tuesday. We talked about getting astronaut Lindgren on there, possibly, you know, putting out a public statement about Hamsci and the festivals. I think that would gain a lot of attention too, because I'm pretty sure he is a ham as well.
Yeah, because they just was just a couple of days ago, I watched the live feed for the 4 astronauts that were selected for Artemis 2. And they're already starting pushing to get that information out. So I don't know. I'm just like I said, my second meeting, I'm new, and I'm just kind of throwing things out there to see what I can do, how it can be useful. So
No, those are all good ideas. And as Mackenzie said, these are things that a couple of these ideas are bubbling up from a couple of different people. So it lends them a lot more validity. So,
I wonder
So
if
I'm
anybody
sure we
else saw
could
the
use your
picture
help.
of I wonder if anybody else saw the picture of the 4 new astronauts on the front page of the New York Times. I thought it was a really bad choice of picture. The 3 men are over on one side high-fiving, and the woman is standing over here going, hi,
all that
clearly
too.
separate from the group.
I did see them on Stephen Colbert last night.
They were fine there, but not on this. Whoever chose the picture for the New York Times did a really bad job.
Yeah, my wife saw that same picture, and she's a retired air traffic controller, and she was looking at that. She says, you know, I was one of few air traffic controllers long time ago. She says, that's not a good picture.
All right, tell her I agree with her.
One thing,
It's,
Gary, if I might jump back, I just checked out the SciStarter site.
yeah,
And you might consider having a cross reference from the actual Hamsci. Because I go to the Hamsci and it doesn't mention the festival. So you have to do a search separately to find the festival.
okay. If that's the case, that was my mistake, because I thought I was going to link it to hamsci.org/eclipse. And if I can still go in there and edit that, I definitely will do that.
Well, I'm just saying under SciStarter, and I do a search for Hamsci, it comes up with 2 separate things. And there's not from the regular Hamsci page that they have. I don't think it has a link to the
Yeah.
Eclipse, but it would be helpful if it did.
Yeah, it does.
Does it?
Yeah. Scroll down like
Yeah.
3 times.
Yeah, there's one there.
For the Eclipse? Oh, I'm not seeing it. Never mind.
Or were you talking about this link, David, starting here, or?
Scroll up to the top of that one. No, that they have that, but if you go to just the Hamsci
Oh,
page for
that's,
SciStarter,
okay. This guy here?
that one, yeah, click on that one. There's not a link that then gets you over to the Eclipse.
Okay, yeah, this looks like it's been up there a real long time. I'll have to
Right.
see if Nathaniel, okay, I got you. Understood. Let's see what the
That
date
would be
is on this
helpful.
thing.
Sorry, David, I was looking at something else.
Yep,
Yeah.
nope.
Okay, no, that's good, thanks.
Back to net.
Yeah, there we go. Okay. Okay, a lot to think about here. And I'm trying to figure out where to start because there's a lot to do. We could be doing, I suppose. Like I said, I'll start with Nathaniel and try to get Facebook cranked back up again, see what we need to do that. And we can talk about that next Thursday. If not, get a few new posts up there before then.
Sorry to interrupt again, but on the SciSarter thing, you might put that add cross-reference to from HAMSci, so they cross-reference each other.
Got it. So the Twitter thing, I mean, Twitter, we don't have to build anything, right? It's just getting some hashtags so that, and some people to start posting and using it. That sounds like a fairly easy thing to start without a lot of work.
Yes, it's really just posting and adding hashtags so people can see it. And then people will follow you as they see more posts.
So that would be, if say I'm on a Thursday morning great Zoom call, and somebody does or brings something up, I would say, hey, could you please, do you have a Twitter account? Please post that over on Twitter. Is that how we kind of get that sort of thing kind of kicked off?
Yes.
Okay. The thing to do is maybe I'll log in with my wife's account and look and see if there's any hashtags or anything that are appropriate for HAMSci, or if we need to create some or start new ones or whatever.
Okay. Well, yeah. HAMSci could create its own hashtag, but we could also use other things like keywords specifically for, like, if you want to do something for the festival, just like Eclipse, space, ham radio, stuff in that area. And that would create an audience, I would think.
I mean, something like Eclipse is going to draw in, probably millions and millions of people, obviously. I don't know if that's too broad for some of the stuff we're doing, but there's a few things out there, I'm sure, like that. Okay. So I think that's the case. If we get a couple of postings up there, and as we talk on some of these other Zoom calls and stuff, just encourage people to start using and watch it grow. I think it seems like the way to go. And I'd like to look into this. Well, I don't know what to. I'm not sure where to go next. I guess I need to think about it a little bit. But because I don't want to see somebody put a bunch of work into creating something and then we decide we don't use it or something like that. That'd be harmful. Like the Discord servers, I don't know. I mean, I have no idea if that's a 5-minute job to get some of this stuff set up, or it takes somebody 4 hours. I'm not sure. I'm a little lost, as you can tell.
I can help you with the Discord server. It shouldn't take that long. If anyone in HAMSci is a little familiar with Discord, they could help as well if they have the time. Because it's really just setting up channels. And it takes a couple clicks and you should be good to go. And then we can start having people join and go from there.
I suppose the first thing I ought to do is put the app on my phone, so at least I've got access to it too. Okay, well, if Mackenzie, if you're willing to do that, I mean, you don't have to build the whole thing out, or if you want to just get started and show it to us next week, or ring somebody up and have somebody contact me and take a look. I mean, David's obviously been using it. I haven't. I guess I need to start. But we're not going to make any progress if we don't start somewhere, right? So.
Right. I can start to make it. I might need a little help because I'm not 100% with Discord servers yet, because I've never, well, I have made my own, but not like crazy. But I will do some more research into it and I'll make it and then get back to you on that.
Okay, that's wonderful. Yes, thank you. That would definitely help.
Of course.
Okay, so we got some
I
action
know
on
somebody who's
Facebook.
heavily into Discord, but I don't want to speak for them, so I'll inquire whether they'd be willing to help.
Yeah, I belong to 4 different Discord servers, but I'm kind of lost when it comes to that. I'm just still learning it.
Okay, well, maybe we'll all learn together. So that's always a good thing too. And then once we got things set up, we can talk about asking volunteers to be moderators and that sort of thing too, I guess would be a next step. So pretty exciting, actually. Pretty exciting. Okay, well, let's work on those three things, the Facebook, the Twitter, and keep going on the Discord servers, and we'll hold off on YouTube channel a little bit. But I like Mackenzie and Gary, you both raised the point of getting a couple of celebrities out there, but I think we also want to have the channel. It's kind of like when you invite somebody into your house for the first time, is maybe one of the calls, we should take a look at our YouTube channel and see what suggestions people have for improving it or cleaning it up, or I'm not sure what. But you're right, the Zoom meeting recordings probably aren't the most exciting thing on there, so they aren't gonna go viral. I guess that's the way I'd put that. Okay, well, that's a lot discussed. Any other comments on the social media stuff? Okay. All right. I don't have anything else on the Hamvention plans. I still need to work on the Hamvention sign, booth sign up and that sort of thing. But that's for me to do during the week. I guess one last thing, if there's any suggestions out there. So the Grape 2 group is moving towards getting closer and closer to wanting some sites where we may put receivers. Not that we have the hardware yet, but I think they would like a list of, I guess you call them applicants or proposals, so we can start combing through them and seeing where we might want to put these things and what people's capabilities are and how quiet their sites are and that sort of thing. So I was trying to figure out how to raise some awareness and some interest in people who might be interested in hosting a grape. And it could be a long-term commitment. It's got to be at least through the April 2024 total eclipse, and probably ideally continue on past that, which could be like 3 more years. So there's one thing I thought about. Yes.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Finish and then I'll tell you what I was going to say.
So yeah, the only thing that I came up with, I thought about the Time Nuts group. I mean, there's a lot of people that are interested in research and scientific and good hands-on people there. So I'm looking for other suggestions and stuff too. So go ahead, Ron.
So what I was going to say is at the workshop, it's Bill that's doing that. I gave him my information and said that I would like to pay for one and to be involved. And then when he heard that I was in Utah and in that path, and he said he didn't really have him out that direction, he said that he would be very interested. I haven't heard anything since, and I don't want to bug him, but I'm one that would be quite interested. And I've got my big tower and some room on my mast, so I can easily throw up another, as long as it's not huge, I could throw up another antenna up on top of it, just a small beam for something 10 or 20 meters. Those are really small. But anyway, I threw my name out. He seemed to think this was a good location, just an FYI.
No, you're on the list, Ron. I've got a short
Okay.
list of people so far, so you're definitely on there. So
I didn't know.
Yeah,
So.
You can put me on N1HAC as a host as well.
okay, and I've got your information, Dave. I'll dig it up. So
Right.
I told my wife,
and,
I said, I might be putting up one more antenna. And she goes, honey, you kind of have a lot of antennas up, inverted L's and inverted V's and 160 and tower. And I said, yeah, but this is for ham site. She goes, oh, okay, go ahead.
Gary, there also is a Frequency Nuts email servers. And I believe both of those are moderated by John Ackerman.
oh wow, that makes it easy. Okay.
I know he does
N8UR.
Time Nuts.
Yeah, N8UR. Okay, good. All right, that helps a little bit. A couple more ideas. Okay. We haven't heard from Nick. I know, Nick, if you've been working on your the AM portion of the things at all, AM Doppler project a little bit, if you want to tell us what's new. If not, that's okay too. So,
Can't claim that there's anything too much new. As I CC'd you on an email that I had with Ed saying that I was going to be away through much of April, in locations that I probably wouldn't be able to check in for these meetings. So, I'm pretty much in abeyance at the moment. I think judging by, like what's been going on in these meetings, probably the thing to do is to come up with a proposed sort of piece of publicity to go out to the medium wave clubs and have people, comment on them as, on what's being proposed and, sort of fine tune it a bit. But as far as, sort of actual details about, processing for, say, frequency shifts and so forth, I'm more of the opinion right now that we really want to make sure that people are aware that there's, certain level of equipment they would need to be able to contribute data that would be useful for that. We really don't know how we're going to handle it yet. And actually, David would, his talk was really good on, the difficulties of using, or the possibilities as well of using AM transmitters to look at frequency shifts and so forth. But as I say, at the moment, it's more a matter of, at least to my mind, and I'm happy to be corrected on this, rather than looking at the data processing possibilities, just making sure that the data that would be gathered would be of a high enough quality that one could be able to, as time goes on, develop the possibilities of how we're going to actually look at that data. So any of that make sense?
no, it does to me. I mean, you're right. If we need to have at least some idea of what the end game is. You're right. We don't know what the research might hold or how the data might be used in the future, of course, because it could be years out. But yeah, to be able to tell people, here's what we need from you, and a little bit of here's why, I think would be a very good place to go.
Yeah. The here's why. I mean, I think probably the people who want to participate will have, some technical background and technical interests. So they'll sort of know what you're talking about without getting into sort of hard math and things like that. But, that they'll understand the importance of, say using a frequency standard, on the clock of an SDR and so forth, and whether this is something that they would be interested in doing. One other possibility that struck me about, try and find locations for the grapes and so forth is, whether or not, we should include, sort of links to that part of the project, because this might be something that appeals also to the more technically minded among the medium wave community who do have a, sort of a fairly clear idea of things like, the Doppler shifts that might occur. So, I'll think more about that. But as I say, I really won't be sort of back on the ground until early May. So maybe while I'm away, I'll think a bit more about it as well. Okay, back to you.
No, that's great, Nick, because speaking with Ed earlier today too, I know he's got a lot of ties into the medium wave DXing community. And you're right, to put a request out there, maybe 500 people will see it and we'll get 1 or 2 replies, which would be great. That's 1 or 2 more than we had before we tried it. And so I think approaching the medium wave listening community is a good idea.
Okay, I'll stand by then. Thank you.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Did you want to touch on the Speakers Bureau, Gary? Are you going to table that for now?
Oh, yes. Yes. Yeah, thanks.
I just saw that on your list. I was going through it.
Yeah, and Mackenzie was talking about the PowerPoint. So anyhow, so Mackenzie, you had a good idea about having being able to supply out of Hampshire a number of different people who could speak to what we're doing here as an organization and what we're doing for the Eclipse. And one of the things I suggested is that we kind of have a standardized spiel, if you will. So at least we're all getting the same information across, because we're all representing Hampshire. Here's what Hampshire is. Here's why we're doing this. here's the kind of thing we need out of the Eclipse, and here's what we hope to get out of it, type of thing. If we get something, the beginning, the first 3 or 4 or 5 slides might be, the introduction of who is speaking and why they're interested and what ham side means to them. Obviously, you can personalize it, but and then have a little more standardization after that. And one way to do that is, if we get something like that put together, is utilize our idea of a couple of months ago of a ham side speakers bureau. So that as radio clubs come to us, podcasters and so on and so forth, we've got a stable of people to pick from. We don't kind of have to scramble. We can say, here, this person, whatever, type of thing. Any comments on that? I think that's what we discussed on Tuesday a little bit.
Because isn't there only 4 or 5 of us currently in that quote unquote speakers bureau at this time? I don't.
Right, and it's only on the ham side test site. Nobody's seen it other than the few of us that are on this call every week. So
Okay. Well,
Still
you
pretty
already
hidden.
know that I enjoy doing presentations, so that is something that I would be quite interesting in helping to set up or to be involved. And if you've got others, and McKinsey has a lot of other people, then that's fine too. So whatever helps.
Well, I wanted to say that I really enjoyed Ron's talk, which was good for an astronomy club, talking about the sun's influence on the Earth, as well as his other stuff.
It's just those are kind words. Thank you.
Yeah, so not just for ham site people, but also for people in astronomy.
Okay. Well, one of the things I did, I asked Nathaniel, he's put together a talk, excuse me, for Contest University in Xenia. And I think it kind of covers all those topics. And I said, could we kind of use that as a starting point to build a common presentation from it? Of course, he said yes. He said absolutely, by all means. So I've got a copy of that in my email. I need to pull that down and try to figure out how to get from where we're at to where we want to be then. So.
Well, that's good, because I've been asked to, in some of my presentations, to look at doing something on the Eclipse, because I've been talking about it a lot. So rather than reinvent the wheel, I'm going to back off on that and see where that goes, Gary.
Okay. All right. Mackenzie, does that answer your questions, or do you have anything more you want to speak on that topic?
That answered my question. Thank you.
Okay. All right. All right. So I'll get that file opened up, and maybe I'll share with a few of you, and we'll see what we can do with that. So next week, I'd like to follow up on our social media stuff a little bit. We'll see where we're at with Discord and see if we've dug up some hashtags or created some new ones for Twitter. And hopefully we'll have some input by then from Nathaniel on our Facebook stuff. And those of us who are working on articles, we'll keep working on them. So that's great. We hit 5 o'clock. Is there anything anyone else would like to add? Mary Lou, I saw you waving.
No, I'm saying goodbye.
Okay, that's wonderful. Glad
Another
you're
meeting.
going to
I have
be up
another
and
meeting
about.
at 5.
Okay, wonderful. Thanks, everyone. Thanks for your participation and ideas. We'll talk again soon.